Hello students, in this part we'll be studying about the torque acting on a current carrying loop placed in the uniform magnetic field, principal arrangement and working of a moving coil galvanometer, and electrostatic analog of magnetism. To determine the torque acting on a current loop, consider a rectangular current loop ABCD with sides L1 and L2 placed in the uniform magnetic field B bar in such a way that the segments AB and CD are perpendicular to the field. Initially, let the plane of the loop be parallel to the field. The segments BC and AD being parallel to the field will not experience any force, whereas segments AB and CD will experience forces F1 and F3 of magnitude IL1B each, which are oppositely directed and acting parallel to each other. Their directions can be found out by right-hand rule. This pair of forces constitute a couple and produce rotation of the loop. Let us study this action of rotation in details in the next slide. Now let the plane of the coil is making some non-zero angle with the direction of B bar. Now the sides BC and AD will also experience some non-zero force, say F2 and F4. Both these forces are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, but are acting along the same line, hence will cancel out each other. The magnitudes of forces F1 and F3 acting on the sides AB and CD are still IL1B, that is equal in magnitude, opposite in direction and act parallel to each other. Hence they constitute a couple. If the normal to the plane of the coil makes an angle theta with B bar, then the perpendicular distance between these forces F1 and F3 will be given by BC sin theta, that is L2 sin theta, as shown in the second diagram. Hence, the torque due to the forces F1 and F3 can be written as IL1 L2 B sin theta. But L1 L2 is nothing but area of the loop. Hence, torque is equal to IAB sin theta. If the coil has n number of turns, the total torque will be torque dash is equal to NIA B sin theta. This equation is similar to the torque acting on a magnetic dipole placed in the external magnetic field, as torque is equal to mu B sin theta. Hence, by analogy, we can say that a current carrying loop is equivalent to a magnetic dipole with the dipole moment mu is equal to NIA. Moving coil galvanometer or a table galvanometer is a device used to detect the current flowing through a circuit. It shows deflection directly proportional to the amount of current flowing through the circuit. It works on the principle that current flowing through a coil can be measured in terms of a torque exerted by a magnetic field on it. The adjacent diagram shows the vertical section and transverse section of the arrangement. A coil of several turns is either suspended or pivoted in the radial magnetic field so that it can freely rotate about a fixed axis. When a current is passed through the coil, it deflects. As seen in the previous slide, the deflecting torque is equal to NIAB. The cylindrical pole pieces of the magnet always provide radial field, so plane of the coil will be always parallel to the field, hence sin theta is equal to 1 here. However, this torque is counterbalanced by a restoring torque due to the spring fitted at the bottom of the coil. This restoring torque is directly proportional to the deflection phi. That is, the restoring torque is equal to K phi, where K is the torsional constant of the spring. Under equilibrium, the deflecting torque is equal to restoring torque. Thus, K phi is equal to NIAB, and hence the deflection produced phi is equal to NAB upon K into I. For a given setup, all the quantities in bracket NAB upon K, that is number of turns of the coil, area of cross section of the coil, the strength of the field, and the torsional constant of the spring are constant. Hence, we can say that the deflection phi is directly proportional to the current flowing through the coil. Students, here is the table showing analogy between certain terms from electrostatics and magnetism. Such a comparative study will help you for better understanding of concepts and remembering the formulae. Let us go through the concepts one by one. In electrostatics, the basic physical quantity is the charge at rest, Q, which produces an electric field in the surrounding medium. The strength of the field is measured as E bar. Whereas in magnetism, the basic physical quantity is magnetic pole, denoted by Qm, which produces magnetic field around it, the strength of which is measured in terms of B bar. In electric field, the field constant is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, which depends on the surrounding medium. Here, epsilon 0 is the permittivity of free space. Whereas in magnetic field, the field constant is mu 0 upon 4 pi, where mu 0 is the permeability of free space. Next, in electrostatics, we deal with an electric dipole, which is an arrangement consisting of two equal and opposite charges separated by a finite distance. Such an electric dipole is characterized by dipole moment P bar, which has the magnitude Q into 2L, that is the length of the dipole, and is directed from negative charge to positive charge. Whereas in magnetism, the magnetic dipole moment is given by m bar is equal to pole strength into the distance between the two poles. Here, its direction is from south pole to north pole. Next, if we bring a charge Q in the external electric field of strength E bar, it experiences a force F bar is equal to Q times E bar. Whereas a pole of pole strength Qm subjected to the external magnetic field of strength B bar experiences a force F bar is equal to Qm times B bar. Further, the energy of an electric dipole in the external electric field is given by minus P bar dot E bar, whereas the energy of a magnetic dipole in the external magnetic field is given by minus M bar dot B bar. Next, Coulomb's law gives us the electrostatic force between two charges Q1 and Q2 separated by a distance r as F is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 upon r square. Whereas in magnetism we don't have any such a law because magnetic monopoles do not exist. We can never have an isolated south pole or isolated north pole. Next, the axial field due to short electric dipole is given by E bar is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 2p upon r cube, which is directed along P bar. Whereas the axial field due to short magnetic dipole is given by B bar is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi 2m upon r cube directed along M bar. Similarly, the equatorial field due to short electric dipole is given by E is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 P upon r cube, but it will be directed opposite to P bar. Similarly, the equatorial field due to short magnetic dipole is given by B bar is equal to mu 0 upon 4 pi m upon r cube. Again, oppositely directed to m bar. Thus, if we compare the axial field to the equatorial field at the same distance from the center of the electric dipole or the magnetic dipole, we can conclude that axial field is stronger than the equatorial field. Further, I have added the formula for torque acting on an electric dipole as torque is equal to P bar cross E bar, or magnitude wise it is PE sin theta. Similarly, torque acting on a magnetic dipole is given by torque is equal to mu bar cross B bar, or magnitude wise mu B sin theta. Here, if we take into consideration the analogy of a current carrying coil with a magnetic dipole, then as we know, the magnetic dipole moment associated with a current carrying coil is given by M is equal to NIA. Then we can say that torque is equal to NIA B sin theta.